Healing from trauma is one of the most courageous and hardest things that you will ever do in this lifetime, as it requires enormous amount of emotional and mental strength to deal with your past hurts and your inner demons. What most people don't tell trauma survivors is just how much harder it is to go through the healing process, which requires you to remember all the painful memories that you have been trying to suppress and forget. In this video, we are going to reveal some of the challenges you will face along your healing journey. Wherever you are currently in your healing journey, please know that you are not alone. Though it may always feel that way, there really are thousands of people out there who have experienced pain and are actively working through their healing, and you can come out on the other side healed and live a more fulfilled life. My name is Veena Raji and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This channel is dedicated to talking about healing childhood trauma, narcissistic abuse, as well as attachment styles, something that I have worked on myself over the last couple of years without any professional help, and I've dedicated this channel to sharing about my personal journey, hoping that this information could help those of you who are currently on your healing journey, and I hope that this information will be able to help you as much as it did help me. In this video, I am going to be sharing with you on the healing process, because what a lot of people don't know is that healing is not just about going for talk therapy and reading books and understanding your attachment styles. It's much deeper than that, and the real healing happens only when you are able to embrace the challenges that comes along the way, and it's a multifaceted journey. It's not a one size fits all. It may look different for everyone, and whatever that I'm about to share with you here in today's video is based on my personal experience and my personal journey, something that I've also been able to share and relate to some others that I know personally in my life who had also gone through something similar, and I thought that talking about this might be able to shed some perspective. And for those of you who are currently struggling, I hope that this will be able to bring you some hope and light, knowing that wherever you are currently in your healing journey, I urge that you continue to do so. I know it's challenging, it is painful, and it can be very disruptive on some days. However, there will be light at the end of the tunnel. The first thing that you need to understand with healing is that the healing process is not linear. Now, the real challenge that comes with walking down the healing path is not knowing how much time it would take before you are truly healed, because there isn't a syllable or a structure that you can follow. Unfortunately, when it comes to healing, it's not a one size fits all. You're going to walk down the healing path. You would need to take a few different approaches. You would have to try talk therapy to see if that works for you. You would probably want to engage in EMDR therapy if you have to deal with some repressed core woundings in order to be able to acknowledge and release those wounds. Perhaps you might even want to consider taking several holistic approaches, like, trying to practice meditation to remain more grounded. You need to understand your attachment styles, understanding your relational wounds that you may have come to develop when you were much younger. So this is a lengthy process. I know of so many people who are not able to tell exactly what they need to do in order for them to be able to heal when they have tried therapy. And I know of people who have been going for therapy for 5 years, 10 years, yet they are still struggling with attachment wounds. They still struggle with certain attachment issues like the fears of abandonment. They still have a lot of anxiety. Now, these things are not that easy to rewire, because your attachment system and your nervous system is like this, and your nervous system is familiar with what you had come to develop when you were much younger, based on that relationship and the family dynamic that you grew up in. So your relationship with your parents and how you grew up in that environment shapes your core identity as an adult. And in order for you to walk down the healing path, you are going to have to take several different approaches before you can finally find out what's going to work for you. And sometimes you will need to do all these approaches at once. You might have to do it all simultaneously, because that's just what it takes. It's a lot of work on your own. It is also unique for each person based on their own experiences and how much awareness they have. Now, during the healing stage, you may even be required to try several different approaches and find one that actually works for you, because healing trauma again is not a one size fits all. So if you are currently finding yourself struggling, not knowing where you are, you're feeling lost, not knowing what is it that you can do, how you're going to heal, and you're feeling frustrated that whatever that you're trying currently is not necessarily working, I would say that you really have to be patient with yourself, because this is going to take some time. I know it's frustrating. I know everyone do not want to hear that. If only we can all just go to therapy and talk to someone and come out healed. I wish that it was that easy, but unfortunately it really isn't. You are going to do a lot of things. It's also going to require you to practice compassion along the way. You would need to make some lifestyle changes. You will need to adapt new routines, new habits. You would need to integrate self-care routines into your lifestyle. So there really are so many things that goes along your healing journey before you can finally arrive at a place where you feel more healed and confident, and you're able to rewire some of these old patterns and old belief system that has conditioned you to develop a false belief around your perspective of life in general. Next, you need to understand that there are chances that you can absolutely fall back into old patterns in your journey. Now, these are some of the most common challenges that most people face in their journey. And while you may seem like you're making significant improvements in your healing, all it takes is one setback or some life stressors that can throw you back into old patterns. And this isn't to say that you are not necessarily making progress in your journey. However, sometimes these setbacks are essential to test your resilience towards moving forward with a different approach. It is okay to allow yourself to fall back into old patterns, because only then you can find the courage and strength to want to finally push yourself to break the pattern and leave behind that for good. And if you don't fall back, you are not learning how you will do it differently again this time, which is why you need some kind of challenge in your way, so that you can test your resilience and your strengths based on how much you have learned. Now, this is what I call that integration process. When you're faced with similar challenges, you can fall back into your old patterns, but what really matters most here is that you are able to pull through and fight against it by breaking the pattern and moving away from that. So whenever you feel that you're falling behind, you're falling back into old patterns, you find yourself repeating the very same thing that you told yourself that you're not going to do, and you're going to be able to break certain habits, I want to urge you to practice compassion and just be kind towards yourself, and tell yourself that you are doing the best that you can, and setbacks are just part of the process. It's going to allow you to have different perspective. It's going to test your resilience to want to push through. And when you are able to finally break the pattern and move along and come out on the other side, you are going to be so proud of yourself to be able to find that strength and courage to change the thing that you really wanted to leave behind. So this is why it is also important to know and acknowledge, just because you're falling behind, it doesn't mean you are failing or not making a progress. The progress is often seen in the midst of setbacks and chaos. The next one is reliving old painful experiences. Now, if there is one thing we do not want to deal with, that is to relive the very painful memories and feelings that was inflicted upon us, that left us scarred and traumatized. And I would say this is possibly the most challenging and painful part of the entire healing process. However, this is one process that you cannot afford to skip. However, this is where a lot of people would not be able to get through, because going through this process would require you to sit with that emotional discomfort, sit with that pain and deal with it. And oftentimes a lot of people don't want to deal with it, so they go back to distracting themselves by doing other things. They get busy, and they find creature comforts, you name it. So they find any means possible to escape that discomfort, that emotions, but this is the most crucial aspect of the whole healing process. And unfortunately, as painful and challenging this may seem, it is also one of the most powerful ways to heal some lifetime trauma that has been stored in your body. This is often applicable to relational wounds that was developed during early childhood that grows with time and causes severe damage in our ability to form healthy emotional connection with others. This process is often ugly as you will need to go through similar experiences that acts as a trigger to bring up core wounding, and it's often 10 times much more painful than the initial experience. That is because our body remembers the first time we experience these traumatic events, and as we age, we accumulate so much life experience surrounding our belief system. In the case of trauma, your subconscious mind is wired to perceive connections based on what you learned as a child, and when that is damaged, it impacts the trajectory of your human experience in your adult life. And as you age, you go through life experience, you will come into contact with people who will constantly inflict similar traumatic experiences, and this further exacerbates your core wounding. As these experiences accumulate over the years, so will your trauma, and it won't be as easy to heal because these experiences shapes your reality and identity that is often adapted to feel safe. So the only way you can finally heal these wounds is to go through the multifaceted layers of painful emotional release that can be emotionally, mentally, and physically draining. And this is a tedious process that happens over a period of time. However, the process of releasing this stored pain will require you to remember almost experiencing the same pain all over again, only that this time it's way more painful than the initial experience. And while this process may seem tedious and ugly, it is the most important part of healing, and most people refuse to deal with this stage and would choose distraction that will only serve as a temporary relief. It is only a matter of time before these emotional wounds resurfaces and requires you to deal with those intense emotions. And this is why as we age, we become emotionally stunted and emotionally damaged because our trauma keeps accumulating in the body, and when we are not doing anything to release the stored trauma in the body from our past experiences, it only gets worse over the years, and it's like accumulating more toxin in the body. The more you store these toxins in the body, eventually at some point you are going to fall ill, and it's going to cost you a lot more. It's going to cost you your health. So that's essentially what happens when you do not do the work to release all these painful emotions and memories that is stored in your body. As you move along your healing process, you must be aware that emotional triggers are absolutely necessary. And the fact is, you will never be fully healed before you can move forward and choose to have a relationship. However, you will be required to do the work yourself to provide you with the tools, the awareness, and the knowledge to be able to handle the challenges and the triggers that naturally comes with having a relationship or forming a connection with another person. You cannot be truly healed because relational trauma can only be healed in the context of a relationship. So while you will be required to do some level of deep inner work on your own, once you get into a relationship is where you will be able to recognize the remaining parts of you that still requires healing because you are going to be triggered by your partner. Now, one of the things that we don't talk about enough is the people that would eventually show up in our lives and likely trigger our emotional wounds. And this often happens because there's something for us to learn. If someone is crossing you, that's only because they know they can disrespect your boundaries and get away with it. However, this also allows you an opportunity to look at what needs healing and changes on your part so you can better manage such situations. Similarly, while you are in the process of healing, as you enter the dating scene, your partner or date will most definitely trigger some of your core woundings. This is where the actual work needs to be done. As you begin to understand your triggers and where they are coming from, this will allow you an opportunity to do the inner work, the shadow work, to get to the root of your core wounds. As you begin to heal these wounds, you will start to feel much lighter. You will feel no guilt, as it will reveal that you have unmet needs and your needs are valid. In the process, you will allow yourself to learn to meet your own needs and also learn how to ask for your needs to be met when you are in a romantic connection. This is also where you learn to discern what is right for you and allow yourself to choose someone that can show up for you, someone that will be good for your nervous system. With the right partner and relationship, you will learn to co-regulate and self-regulate to heal your nervous system. While a lot of the work is to be done by yourself, your romantic connections will always reveal areas where you still have work to be done. Now, this topic goes much deeper and I have barely only scratched the surface. And if you would like more information on this topic, please feel free to leave down in the comments below and I will be able to provide you more information and make more videos on this topic. The last one we need to understand about the healing process is this is going to be a chance for you to rediscover your identity. As you continue to heal, you are releasing old habits, old patterns, and belief system, which will also require you to change your idea of who you thought you were and a false identity that was created based on your old belief system to keep yourself safe in your body. And when you do this, you will finally find the courage to want to pursue that hobby or passion that you never did because your old belief system were holding you back. And healing will also allow you to find newfound confidence in who you really are. It restores your original identity that was kept hidden beneath your past fears and experiences, and it also allows you to thrive with more confidence. As you continue, healing can take years. You will find yourself evolving each time you confront something that is no longer serving you. And at the end of this journey, you will be rewarded with a much more fulfilling and enriching connection to be able to live the life you desire. And most importantly, as you reach a certain point in your healing journey where you have done a significant amount of healing and you will know that you are healed to a certain point, you will rediscover a whole new you that you never thought existed. And when you look back at the old version of you, you would see that that past person was built based on fears and trauma and old experiences. And this new you is who you were meant to be all along if you were not forced to deal with so much pain and trauma in your life. I really do hope that you found this information helpful, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I've had so many people come up to me personally talking about their healing process, and I have done so much work on myself and it took me years to discover what works, and I went through multi-layer approach in my healing journey that really helped me to heal my trauma, to heal my relational wounds, as well as my attachment system. And I just wanted to come out and put it out here to share it with you for whoever that needs to hear this, so that you know that wherever you are currently, you can heal and you can come out on the other side. I will definitely be sharing more videos like this, so stay tuned. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so that you would not miss out on my future videos. So thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.